How can that we be more comfortable with that spirituality being a natural part of anything, especially for people who resist dogma and doctrine?
I think that's difficult because we have to find signposts along the way. It's like if I was going to drive from Missoula to Helena, I know the signposts. It's about a little over an hour. You go through back roads in Montana, you go over the Continental Divide. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. But if I didn't know the signposts and I didn't recognize them, I couldn't get there. So, how did I learn the signposts? First, I asked for help. Google Maps. That did it. And then I made a record of that, a notation in myself about those signposts. You already have those spiritual signposts, but other people will tell you they are wrong because they can't find their own, or their signposts are dogmatic and hard and have no soul, or demand that they be something that they can never, ever be. That's evil. You think God does that? How do we know what God does? Does God talk to everybody? Yeah, absolutely. How can you not? You have a constant connection. But we have to recognize the signpost. We have to recognize that there is a signature of divinity that comes up when we see, hear, feel whatever internally that may be an external stimulation. I love when I was driving, gosh, when I lived in Birmingham. No, it was Nashville. When I lived in Nashville 50 years ago, and I drove up to Huntsville um, to the uh, to the base to work with Dr. Clark. We were working on Wheeler space theory, all this stuff, and I'm not going to get into that. It sends my mind somewhere else. But my point is, on that drive from Nashville up to Huntsville, way off in the distance, there is this huge white cross, just in a field. It was a sharp pain that was divine to me. Like, oh my God, that to me is one of my symbols of divinity. And it affected me. And to this day, I can, in my mind's eye, see that signpost. I can see that. And it was absolutely precious to me. So there are things in my life that mean things to me that are signposts of divinity. You've got them. Just think about it. Just think about what's there. You'll find it.
That's really important to remind people that it can be a personal thing, and for everybody, it's different, and not to really let people convince you that what you're feeling isn't spiritual because everything truly is.
It really is. And it gets into that dichotomy that we shouldn't let others control what we do, think, say, whatever. But we have to be part of society too. There are times where we just have to give in and say, that doesn't feel quite right to me, but I can do that because the good outweighs the bad with that situation. Like you joked the last time, oh my God, I got to take my kids to the dentist. There's 1,000 other things you'd rather do. But do you do that out of love? And that's a signpost for you that you know that it is important to the health and wealth of your child's being. So there are times that we do have to kind of, as the archetype, the prostitute archetype, we have to do that. There are times that we've had to work a job that we hate, but we got to eat, we got to pay our rent. And in that job, you might hate it. There's nothing else available, and you have to do and say things to represent a company you don't like. That's part of the learning process. It's not easy. There is no pure answer to all of this except to know that the energy field of God, creator of love, that is constant and it's always there.